Hello, everybody, and welcome. We've got a full house of cheering fans, including Earl B., the home team's biggest fan.
Earl B, he's our man. Earl B, local team's biggest fan.
Great day, great game. Thanks to all you fans for coming out, especially Earl B. See you next game, everybody.
For the best sports in Lorain, that's TV 20, Lorain City Schools Television.
Well, hi again, everybody. Welcome back to another special sports edition of WLCS TV 20 Lorain City Schools Television. I'm Tim Elkhorn with AM 930 WEOL Radio. It's good to be back with you again here on WLCS TV 20, joined as always by Barry Buck. And once a year we get together for a very special event at George Daniel Field in Lorain. As Barry, we get to see the future stars here at George Daniel. It's Lorain Middle against Lorain Whittier in both 7th and 8th grade football.
It's kind of interesting when we watch the games on Friday night, Southview Saints and the King Admirals, we get to see some of the kids who played 2-3 years before that. We'll see some kids tonight who we'll be mentioning in a couple of years from now playing on the big field.
Now, of course, the 7th grade game will join in progress. Not too late. We'll pick that one up in the second quarter of play. Lorain Middle leading in the first quarter, 6-0. So we'll join that game in the second quarter as far as the 7th grade contest is concerned. And then we'll bring you the entire 8th grade matchup between the Warriors of Whittier High School and the Steelmen from Lorain Middle. Though I think I will say Saints probably once or twice.
Well, you probably, yeah, I'll help you correct that. But I've gotten the Admirals mixed up with the Saints, and they're not even the same color. At least you got red and white together.
So again, a very special sports presentation here on WLCS TV 20, the 7th and 8th grade football games between Lorain Middle and Lorain Whittier. And again, we'll pick up the 7th grade contest from the second quarter on after this on WLCS TV 20, Lorain City Schools Television.
Your one-stop place for something really special is Impressions, corner of Oberlin Avenue and Tower Boulevard. T-shirts and sweatshirts personally designed to your specific needs. Anything from bears, trains to zebras, and specially designed hats as well. And don't forget Impressions, your one-stop spot for school jackets. See Dave, the designer expert at Impressions, Oberlin Avenue at Tower Boulevard, right here in Lorain.
We welcome you back to George Daniel Field in Lorain. Tim Elkhorn, along with my broadcast partner for these two games on WLCS TV 20, Lorain City Schools Television, Barry Buck. As we told you we would, we pick up the action in the second quarter of play in this 7th grade contest between Lorain Middle and the Warriors from Whittier High School. And Lorain Middle leading this ball game 8-0. Antoine Carlton with a 12-yard touchdown run in the first quarter. They also added a 2-point conversion, and now Whittier on the punt, and Chad Hall on the return for Lorain Middle, and he doesn't get a whole lot thrown down close to the midfield stripe. So Lorain Middle will have it first down and 10, just shy of the 50-yard line. 8-minute quarters in 7th grade football, a little bit of a shorter time period than the high school level.
And they might have noticed that there was no rush on the punt. They just want to get the kids used to lining up and kicking the ball, and there are no kickoffs. They just put the ball in the 35 and play. So few rule changes, but other than that, they do everything else.
Why those rules in the kicking game, Barry?
I don't think you have enough time to get the kicking teams and get the kids to know what to do on those. You have a hard time. 7th grade, they're just trying to teach the kids where to put the pads. And
Lorain Middle now will take a timeout as the Steelmen leading 8-0. Again, we're picking this game up at the very beginning of the second quarter here at George Daniel Stadium in beautiful Lorain, Ohio. 8-0. Lorain Middle leading Whittier in the 7th grade contest. Again, if you're just joining us, I'm sure most people are just joining us right at this particular point. Antoine Carlton with a 12-yard touchdown run for Lorain Middle in the first quarter of play. What a thrill it must be for these young guys to get out here on the gridiron where they hope to play as high school sophomores, juniors, seniors, and perform for the Admirals and or the Saints.
Well, it's kind of nice that they see the down markers that the big kids use. They have the stripes and the numbers on the fields and goalpost, and the big thrill is probably the scoreboard. They can look up and see what's going on in the time, and some of their bigger, older brothers have played here, and they're following in their footsteps. And this is what they live for. This is what they wait for all year.
And, of course, during the 8th grade contest, you'll see the amazing growth that these young guys have from just 7th to 8th grade. The 8th graders look so much bigger than the 7th graders. There's a huge spurt in that year.
And they go to the real football, too. They rush punts and do all the other things. And here, you're just trying to get the kids used to playing organized football. For some of these kids, for the first time, it's putting a helmet on and getting to practice on time and keeping the grades up. This is a real important time for these kids.
Chad Hall is the Lorain Middle quarterback on that play. He handed off to Miles Jones, the fullback, and Miles Jones into Whittier territory, a gain of about 4 to the Warrior 48-yard line. 7:18 to go, first half. Lorain Middle leading this one 8-0. Miles Jones right now the lone back behind Chad Hall. Second down and about 6, and now the officials are going to step in and halt play for a moment or two, and now Whittier will take a timeout.
I think they had too many guys on the field, and he was close to getting off. I see Coach Rick Hands out there. He must be the defensive guru, along with Jonathan Blakely and Ro Pagan are the coaches from the Whittier team.
Whittier has put together a very nice campaign, Barry. They're 5-1 on the season as they come into today's ball game against Lorain Middle.
Yeah, that's important that you establish winning and you let the kids know that this is what it takes to win, and it's more fun when you're winning.
Well, just a week or so ago, we had Tony Shoulders, the head coach of Lorain Southview, on our Sports Scene show right here on WLCS TV 20, and he mentioned that he not only wants to win at the varsity level, but all the way down, so that by the time those kids get up to the varsity team, they're used to winning, they know what it takes to win. And it all starts in 7th grade.
Yes, it does.
And it has started well for this 7th grade group, 5-1 on the year. Inside handoff goes to Miles Jones, and Miles bangs his way down to the 42-yard line. Nice gain of about 6. We'll set up third and a short one for Lorain Middle.
Bill Jones will probably be happy to see that young man carrying the football.
Well, you see Lorain Middle running the identical offense that Admiral King runs. If you watch the games on WLCS TV with you and Ron Bacalar, you'll see that double wing formation with the lone back behind the quarterback.
Last week they changed. They went to an I formation and
Did they?
Split receivers and twins, and Bill Jones had it all. He had it all. They scored 3 points, but he was all over the field.
Wow.
But yet, you know, regardless of what they do run, a good system will. Oh, there's a fumble. And Whittier's got the ball.
Yes, way back. Vincent Lee kept trying to make something out of nothing, and it turns into a disaster for Lorain Middle, and yet somehow they're able to come out of there with the football, although a huge loss on the play.
We're going to see the replay here, our producer says, and we'll see what happens. You're right.
The wonderful work of Joe Bach.
This young guy tried to make a run. He tried to go left. There was nothing there, and he tried to reverse his field, and he's in trouble.
Vincent Lee will learn in the years ahead, if you're hemmed in, just give up and go down. Boy, it looked as though Whittier came out of there with that football.
I think it squirted it out, and you saw it go back 5 more yards, and then now Lorain Middle's going to have to punt anyway. But to get back to what you were saying about the system, that's what good systems do. So when the kids get to high school, they already know the terminology. They already know what's expected of them.
Bouncing snap to Chad Hall. Again, as Barry was mentioning earlier, no rush on the punter at 7th grade. And a very nice punt. On the return is Bobby Cruz for Whittier. Cruz to the 40.
Nice.
He's to the 44. Boy, took a pretty good pop right there at about the 44-yard line. Coming up to deliver the shot, I believe, was Miles Jones. How about Joe Bach? B-O-C-K. He runs the entire show here at WLCS TV 20.
Oh,
and we got Jillian Van Wagenen. You know, I remember Jillian from last year. She helped me out with some basketball broadcasts over at Southview.
And if you remember,
she's a budding Hannah Storm, I tell you.
She carried the ball last year for Lorain Middle. She was on the football field last year as a 7th grader. And she had decided to go into the broadcasting booth. She's part of the Channel 20 team here.
You know, all those gorgeous ladies just taking the jobs away from us hard-working sportscasters. That's why I have a face for radio, Barry Buck.
That's what somebody told me today. He said, you got a great face for radio.
As long as the Jillian Van Wagnens of the world are around, I'm in radio forever. First down and 10 for Whittier at their own 45-yard line. There's a fumble on the handoff, but quarterback Bobby Cruz did not come up with it. Lorain Middle with the recovery, and they'll have terrific field position. First down and 10 at the Warrior 41-yard line. I thought Bobby Cruz was able to pounce on the fumble. Well, let's look at the replay as it popped loose.
Somebody's underneath him, so 53.
Making the recovery was Dale Linder. So Linder comes up with the pigskin for Lorain Middle. And Lorain Middle already with an 8-0 lead now has it at the Warrior 41-yard line. First down and 10.
Looks like one of the things that Whittier needs to work on is how to recover a fumble, how to cover it up so it doesn't squirt out from underneath you.
5:20 to go, first half. Inside handoff, and there isn't anything there for Miles Jones. He lost mileage on that play, thrown for about a loss of 2, perhaps. Making the stop was Kyle Counts. He made that play count right there for Whittier.
Another 2-yard. Whittier just keeps turning the ball over. I think that's how Lorain Middle scored in the first period, was Whittier turned the ball over deep in their own territory.
Yep, Lorain Middle had the short field, and again, Carlton with the 12-yard touchdown run late in the first quarter, the 2-point run, and that's been it. 8-0, Lorain Middle. Fake pitch, and now the inside handoff goes to Vincent Lee, and Lee was down. The ball popped out of there, but Vincent Lee was down. He may have gotten back to the original line of scrimmage.
Tim, 2 weeks ago, or last week.
Ron's a lot better looking than I am, Barry.
The quarterback for Admiral King is a sophomore. Pinkerton played here 2 years ago. I remember talking about him because he was like 6 foot tall in the 8th grade then, and this quarterback for Lorain Middle for a 7th grader looks pretty tall. So you're right, though. We'll see a major difference in size this game to next game. I think Joe goes with the wide-angle lens or a bigger lens that makes him look bigger.
Chad Hall is the 7th grade quarterback for Lorain Middle. Hall, play action, has some time, now faces some heat, and he's corralled and thrown down at about the 50-yard line. Boy, a terrific rush was put on by Whittier's Derek Conti. Well, he did a nice job.
Yes, he didn't go for the fake. The quarterback pumped like he was going to throw it, and Derek just kept coming, and he wrapped him up high, so he was unable to release the ball. The
original pressure came from Kyle Counts.
That's the second time we've mentioned that young man on this drive. And now Lorain Middle will punt again.
3:25 and the clock running, second quarter of play here at George Daniel Field. Earlier this year, I had a real thrill coming over here, serving as the MC for the 75th anniversary of George Daniel Stadium. Boy, a nice kick for a 7th grader as Hall manages to boom that one down to about the 10-yard line. Now it's finally scooped up and looking for room, not finding a whole lot, is Isaiah Gonzalez. Gonzalez thrown down at about the 13-yard line.
Looked like a face mask there, but the referees did not see it, as they did not see the play by Reynolds the other day of Ohio State.
Tell you what, that was a terrific kick. At some point, we'll have Joe Bach get a shot of the flag to our left. The wind really blowing left to right along your TV screen. But still, even without that breeze, that was a nice kick by a 7th grader in Chad Hall.
Whittier's got less than 3 minutes to go 80 yards, 85 yards. So let's see if they have any trick plays. Got to have a couple when you're 5-1. You got to have something.
Bobby Cruz still in at quarterback. There's another muffed exchange in the backfield, and Lorain Middle came out of there with the football. So a golden opportunity for Lorain Middle with 2:47 to go in the half to add to their 8-0 lead.
That's 4 turnovers in less than a period and a half. So,
boy, for the Whittier coaches, John Blakely, Ro Pagana, and Ricky Hands.
Again, that's just all timing and what you work on. And
first and 10 for the Steelmen at the 11 of the Warriors. Lorain Middle already leading this one 8-0, looking to add to that advantage. Chad Hall is the Lorain Middle quarterback. Hall, inside handoff, goes to Miles. Miles to the 5 and into the end zone for the touchdown.
Nice
Miles Jones with an 11-yard touchdown run, and it's a 14-0 lead for Lorain Middle. Barry Buck, you could have run through that hole.
I might have waddled through that hole. I don't know if I could have run, but I'd have stumbled. There was a big hole there. That's the counter. And most kids at this age, what they want to do is go after the initial move and chase the football, and it was a counter, and he was wide open.
Tell you one thing I liked from Miles Jones right there. He knew where the end zone
Yes, he was, and he kept getting wider and wider. It was what you want to do, and he got into the end zone untouched.
Didn't try to dance or dart. He just knew where the end zone was, straight ahead running right to the end zone. And now the inside handoff on the two-point conversion goes to Eli Haynes, but he stood up short of the goal line.
That's what fullbacks do. You just teach them to run straight. If anybody gets in your way, then you just run over them. Tailbacks run around people. Fullbacks are supposed to run through them. In that particular case, Miles Jones didn't have either to do.
He could have run for miles on that one. He had a huge hole.
Now, he's a fullback now. He's probably good for 30 yards at best. I was listening to the Browns the other day, and they had Phil Dawson on, and he said that's the first time that he can remember he had to sprint 20 yards.
I think it was Kennard Lang in Monday's paper. They asked him what he thought of Phil Dawson's run. He said he ran like Forrest Gump. Just that one solid speed.
I heard Phil Dawson say he wasn't offended by that. He said he would have been closer to the truth if he said, "You run like me," Kennard Lang. That's what he said.
First down and 10 for Whittier. And now we've got flags on the play.
Another thing we have here tonight that you usually don't see in a junior high contest is a full complement of officials.
That's true.
We have 5. Usually they play with 2 or 3, and there's a full complement. So kids are getting everything. Athletic director Ray went all out for this.
5-yard penalty against Lorain Middle.
The other thing, Tim, is with all the rain we've had, this field is in perfect shape. I know we say that every week, and people who listen to us, but I think you have to understand as much activity is on this field, and all the rain we got yesterday, the Whittier jerseys are still white.
It's unbelievable. Inside handoff on the 1st and 5 play goes to the fullback.
So
not much there, maybe 1 or 2.
So kudos to Kenny Clark again and his crew for putting out the effort for these young kids in this field. That's why you'll see a playoff game here.
Oh,
at the
there's
end
no
of the
doubt.
Season. The Division III schools love to come here because the field's in such great condition.
I mean, look at it. It looks like a golf course out there. It's in beautiful shape.
And they play soccer on this field, and you've got 4 soccer teams, 2 schools, boys and girls, football teams. There's a lot of use on this field, and
Bobby Cruz will take it himself. He's to the 50 into Lorain Middle territory before he's dropped at the Steelman 47-yard line with exactly 2 minutes to go in the first half.
Well, Whittier needs to mount something up here. We have the replay here again. You'll see him. He's going to take it himself. He has both backs leading, and they turn, and Cruz takes it himself for a first down. And this might be the first time that Whittier's been on this side of the field, at least since we've been broadcasting.
I believe you're correct. That 4:30 start here at George Daniel Field, it was like a Lorain County Conference football game. Inside handoff and busting up inside the 40 to about the 38-yard line is Bryant Parker.
I wonder if more and more schools will consider doing that.
No, let us hope not. Please. I rail on that every week on AM 930 WEOL. The 7 o'clock kickoff in the Lorain County Conference and the Pioneer Conference is horrible. It's horrible for fans. It's horrible for workers at the game. Oh, my goodness. Don't ever hope for that, Barry Buck. Please.
I didn't hope for it. I just asked if more. What's the reasoning behind it then? Why does the Lorain County Conference do it?
Because administrators want to get a good night's sleep. Inside handoff goes to Bryant Parker. He stopped about a yard shy of the first down. We'll set up 3rd and short with 1:07 to go in the first half of play. Now listen to this. Monday night, out at Church Street, we do our Monday night show on WEOL. I'll finish the story after this play.
I thought there was a timeout.
I did too. That's why I was getting into the story. 3rd down, less than a yard for Whittier. I formation, and now folks are jumping all over the place.
He's decided to walk back and hope to get away with it.
Danny Fate jumped off sides for Whittier. That'll push him back 5. Boy, there's a big difference between 3rd and 1 and 3rd and 6. But we had our athletic directors in Lorain County out at Church Street on Monday night. I had an athletic director tell me off air that one of the administrators told him the reason we go to the 7 o'clock start is so that kids will get home earlier. Now, that makes no sense whatsoever. So in other words, if you started the game at 4:30 in the afternoon, kids would be home at 8?
Yeah. And
Yeah, that makes sense.
They'd be out of the stadium at 8. That's all that.
Yeah, okay. Quick hitter thrown to the left side, and it's over the head of the intended receiver, and an incomplete pass.
I want to say on the play before, the guy that jumped offside was number 7. And he's the
17.
Was it 17? I thought it was 7.
Manny
I
Fate.
thought they were trying to run a trick play and throw the ball to the quarterback. So
it's now 4th down for Whittier.
We've now entered the booth of our illustrious athletic director. So these kids will be out of here by 6 o'clock and be home, right?
According to, yes, that was the logic that was used. We went to the 7 o'clock kickoff so that kids would get home earlier. And if you believe that, you believe in the tooth fairy. I formation behind Bobby Cruz on 4th down. There's the pitch play. Now the reverse. Trapped in the backfield, but eluding the stop. No, thrown back at the 49-yard line and dropped right there was Zeno.
In Cherokee.
In Cherokee.
I know that because I worked at Whittier, and I've had some of them in Cherokee.
So that
we got a replay here. We see, tried to get outside. He tried to cut it in and go back out, but
tell you
slowed
what,
him down.
big fella there for Lorain Middle, Nathaniel Adorno, kind of got him up high on the shoulder pad, did a little twist job on him, and they were able to fling him to the turf.
Let's see if Lorain Middle just takes a knee and gets out of this and gets. Nope, they're going to call a timeout. Even though that now you know why they play 8 minutes.
31 seconds to go, second quarter of play. Again, Lorain Middle leading this one 14-0. They got a 12-yard run back in the first quarter of play by Antoine Carlton after a Whittier turnover. And they also converted on the 2-point conversion run. And then earlier in this quarter, Miles Jones with an 11-yard touchdown run, again after a Whittier turnover. The 2-point conversion run after that TD was no good. But Lorain Middle with a 14-0 lead.
See, I thought you were going to tell me they went to the earlier start so they could save money on the lights. Don't have to turn them on so early.
Well, that's what Tomo and I think. Why not just tear down the lights? Start at 4:30.
It would be like volleyball. Start at 4:30 with the freshman game and just play all the way through.
That's a real thorn in my side.
Is that the only conference that you know of?
Pardon me?
Is that the only conference that you know of that does that?
Lorain County Conference and Pioneer Conference.
So now Elyria does it.
Joe Bach, trendsetters.
Pioneers.
Yeah, see, look at Ray Ebersol, incredulous behind me. Almost choked on the pepperoni in the pizza. Handoff goes to Miles Jones, and Miles Jones thrown down for a 2-yard loss. And now we'll hold things for a moment. 24 seconds to go in the quarter.
Why are we holding up things here?
Again, this is the 7th grade contest between Lorain Middle and Whittier. And following the 7th grade matchup, we'll bring you the 8th grade ball game between these two middle schools. Of course, the feeder programs here in the city of Lorain for Admiral King and Southview.
I'm going back a long, long time ago, Tim, but I remember when I was coaching at Hawthorne, we used to meet behind George Daniel on Saturday mornings, all 5 junior highs in Lorain, and we would just play each other.
You know, speaking of Saturdays, I brought this up to Ray Ebersol one time. I'll say this publicly on WLCS TV 20. I am going to say this, and for whatever it's worth, I missed the Saturday afternoon high school games. I remember when King and Lorain played on Saturday afternoons. I would hope at some point the folks at Southview and Admiral King would consider that. I thought it was great.
We do have a Saturday afternoon game this year.
Well, that's Southview and Maple Heights.
Right.
Chad Hall, under center for Lorain Middle, back to pass, facing some heat. Now he'll take off with the football. Hall tries to escape a tackle. They got him, and they corral him at the 46-yard line. Nice defensive job by Eddie Miller. And that, in all likelihood, will be the final play of the first half. But to close off that thought real quick, there was always a big crowd. If it was a beautiful Saturday afternoon, it was a wonderful setting. A lot of folks from Lorain County would come to the game because generally it was the only game in town. I used to love doing those
We
games.
used to have the same officiating crew come out of Akron every year, and the guy used to tell me, he'd say, I wait for this game every year. This is my favorite game because it's Saturday afternoon, it's an inner-city rivalry, it's just the crowd, and he said, I wait for this game every year. This is my favorite game to come to.
Well, I hope someday they take a look at that again. All right, we're at the half. 14-0. Lorain Middle leading the Whittier Warriors in the 7th grade matchup here at George Daniel Stadium in Lorain. We'll take a timeout on WLCS TV 20, Lorain City Schools Television.
Since 1921, your hometown financial professionals at First Federal Savings of Lorain have dedicated themselves to meeting the financial needs of their customers and surrounding communities. They offer a wide variety of financial investments as well as home mortgages to meet your every need. Loans on boats, cars, mobile homes, and other worthwhile purchases are also available. Whatever your financial need, First Federal Savings of Lorain is ready to help. 7 convenient locations to serve you in Lorain, Huron, Sandusky, Port Clinton, and now at 36690 Detroit Road in Avon. First Federal Savings of Lorain is an equal housing lender and FDIC insured.
Mom, Dad,
You are miserable parents. I snuck out.
You caught me.
I lied. You knew.
I pushed.
And you pushed back.
invaded my privacy.
My privacy.
I hated it.
I hated you.
Why can't you leave me alone?
Just leave me alone.
I thought you were the worst parents in the world.
I thought you were the worst parents in the world.
Thanks.
Tim Elkhorn, Barry Buck with you as we pick up the second half. First down and 10 for Lorain Middle. We welcome you back to WLCS TV 20, Lorain City Schools Television, and this special sports presentation. Inside handoff, and there's some room, and streaking all the way, 65 yards for the score, will be Lorain Middle's Antoine Carlton.
That's his second touchdown for the evening.
Boy, how about the burst of speed from Antoine Carlton. Once he got through the first wave of Warrior defenders, there wasn't a white jersey that was going to track him down, and Lorain Middle has busted this one open, a 20-0 lead for the Steelmen. Look at this burst of speed.
When he got in the secondary, he was gone.
Boom, right there. He just picked it up a notch, and he was gone. Look at, there's not a white jersey within 20 yards of him.
No, the referee's closest. Well, whatever the Whittier coaching staff said at halftime kind of went out the window with that play. One play into the second half, and you're down 3 scores.
Carlton with a 65-yard jaunt to open up the third quarter of play, very first play of the second half.
And as we talked earlier, Tim, there's no kicking, so they'll go for 2, because most of the times the field they plan don't have goalposts anyway.
Again, Chad Hall is the quarterback for Lorain Middle. Hands off to Dale Linder, and Linder gets thrown back, so no good on the 2-point conversion. But again, a 20-0 lead for the Steelmen.
Marquise Lumpkin on the tackle.
I would have to say that one Antoine Carlton is very much in the running for our CC's Pizza Player of the Game, Barry Buck. Tell the good folks at home about CC's Pizza.
Well, Ron's usually the one that advertises 16 types of pizzas and salads and pasta and dessert pizza, all for $3.99. It's a great deal.
Well, we thank the folks at CC's for being part of the broadcast here on WLCS TV 20. Of course, thanks to First Federal Savings of Lorain. Tim Stursa, the whole gang over there at First Federal, John Malinowski.
Tim Lombardi Company, and then...
Yep, Impressions, and of course, Lorain Palace Civic Center. Tell you what about the job John Handyside has done with the renovation and the remodeling of Lorain Palace over the years? That's a beautiful facility on Broadway.
And every weekend they have movies for $1 or $2.
New quarterback now in there for Whittier, Brian Kovacs. Kovacs or Kovacs, do you know?
We'll say Kovacs. Do you happen to know the movies that are playing this weekend?
I can tell you right now, Barry Buck. You know, it's amazing you asked me that question. This Friday and Saturday, Freaky Friday. Now, that's an appropriate movie for Friday. I guess on Saturday it's still appropriate to see Freaky Friday. But 7 o'clock showings on both Friday and Saturday. And you know what? It's so popular that Freaky Friday not only plays on Friday, Saturday, Freaky Friday comes back on Sunday. You can see Freaky Friday on Sunday.
They just call it Freaky Weekend.
Lorain Palace. Second down and 17. Movement all over the place as Kovacs was staggering that snap count for Whittier, and he was able to draw Lorain Middle offside.
Speaking of downtown, have you seen the riverboat that's down there that's doing the Halloween thing and is going to be there all winter?
I've heard about it. I have not yet seen it. Speaking of Halloween, though, next Friday night over at Lorain Palace. Now, is this an appropriate Halloween movie? Freddy versus Jason. My goodness. Freddy versus Jason. Friday, Saturday the 1st, and Sunday the 2nd.
Well, people might as well go watch a movie this weekend because there is no football at George Daniel this weekend. So you might as well go watch a movie while you're...
Oh, we got flags flying all over the place again. That's right, Admiral King is at Mentor. And Southview is on the road. I'm right off the top of my head. Where do the Saints go this weekend? Bedford. 5-yard penalty goes against Whittier, so they simply put the ball back where it was 2 plays ago.
The stripes giveth and the stripes taketh away.
Second down and 17 for the Warriors. They're at their own 28-yard line. Boy, they've got a mountain to climb, trailing 20-0. Again, Brian Kovacs is the quarterback for the Warriors. Kovacs, quick hitter here on the near side. Got it to Josh Smith. Smith tried to lateral it. Loose ball. There's a scramble for it at the 10-yard line, and Lorain Middle with another turnover. Oh, my goodness. Boy, Whittier just can't hang on to the football here in the 7th grade contest.
We call that the hook and ladder. He just threw the pass out there. Joe's going to get it. Here's the replay. Tim, we're going to see it. They're going to throw it to the – yeah. He got popped good. He just let it fly. And
that was the hook and fumble-rooski right there.
That wasn't even a hook.
Out of there with it for Lorain Middle, making the fumble recovery, Adrian Casey. Well, the last time they took over at the 11-yard line, Miles Jones on the very next play rumbled in from 11 yards out. So let's see what Lorain Middle does here at the 11-yard line of Whittier. Robert Bruce is now the Steelman quarterback. Ball at the left hash mark. Bruce, inside handoff. Antoine Carlton. Carlton bangs his way down to about the 6-yard line. Second down and 5. Lorain Middle can get a first down without a touchdown.
Well, probably the biggest game, if not in the state, is going to be, for sure in the area, is going to be Friday night, Amherst and Avon Lake.
Correct. Good ball game. Avon Lake, they are loaded. They are one of the best high school teams I've seen in a while, but certainly Jeff Risen has the Amherst Comets playing very well. Jeff, of course, an Admiral King grad. His dad coached at Admiral King, Pete Risen. 2nd and 5 from the 6-yard line. And there's the handoff, trying to scamper around the right end.
Nice
Anthony
tackle.
Harrison, he's dumped at the 11-yard line. Brian Kovacs, who we've seen at quarterback in the 3rd quarter for Whittier, did a nice job of stopping Harrison.
A couple other ties to Admiral King over there. I think Bill Providence over there.
Correct.
Richardson, Don Richardson.
He has Admiral King ties?
Yeah, he coached at King. He was here.
I did not know that. See, every time you tune in to WLCS TV 20, you learn something from Barry Buck.
I think I might be correct. He used to be over there a lot because he was friends with Bill. Al Hereditarios over there, and he teaches in Lorain. He teaches at Southview. It was his kid. His boys were the fullbacks at Amherst, so there are a lot of ties over there. Look at that fake.
Fake
look
pitch.
at this.
Nice fake. And going down to his knees to make the catch was
right over, yeah.
the Jaron Clipper, and unfortunately he had to go down to his knees to make the catch. He did manage to bring the ball in, but of course at this level of football, all the way up through varsity action, once that knee is down, you're down.
That's a good
What
move.
a great fake by Robert Bruce.
Here's the play here again. We're going to see. That was
Watch this fake.
He put the ball in his hip. He faked everyone out.
Look at this.
Look at this. He hit it.
A little lollygag to the left. Oh!
He had to make sure he caught that because there wasn't anybody near there. But you were talking about the knee being down. That's a good rule in high school and in junior high to keep from kids getting hurt.
I don't like it at the varsity level. I really don't. 4th down and 3 from the 4. Hall gives it to Carlton. Carlton stopped short of the first down. He didn't get to that 1-yard line.
No, he didn't.
Making the stop was Darius Smith for Whittier.
Whittier's going to take over on downs. We're going to have to find something that we agree on because we haven't done too well.
Well, I think at the high school level, those kids are physically mature enough. You have your knee go down, you can get back up. I don't like the rule. Now, at this level, the 7th and 8th graders, even freshman football, I could live with it. But I think once you get up into the JV varsity level of high school football, I don't know. There's some great athletes, and their knee touches, and that ends the play.
Slipped on a wet ground or something. But I think that
I understand where it protects the player, though. I do understand that. I think once you're at that level, you should be able to get back up. Inside handoff, it doesn't go anywhere. Anthony Browning, very, very close to getting thrown for a safety. They'll give him forward progress to about the 1. He lost a yard on that play.
You realize next week's the rules interpretation meeting for basketball, so we're right around the corner with basketball.
We've got our schedule put together on WEOL for the boys. 33 games. Oh, yeah.
What game are you guys doing this weekend, Friday night?
Our Colson and Colson Gridiron Clash. The live game is Clearview hosting the Wellington Dukes. First place on the line in the Lorain County Conference. And then that Amherst-Avon Lick clash that you mentioned, that'll be the Gridiron Clash 2.
All right, I'll ask you this question. I was reading in the paper. Why is Clearview in a different district than all the other schools in their region?
Why are they in a different district? In other words,
they're in Division 5, but schools like Columbia to find Clearview, do they have to play schools like Defiance?
Oh, I know. I went there last
West
year.
Division. Why is that? Is it because there's so few schools in?
I think it just depends upon how the OHSAA draws up that Division 5 map across the state.
Looks like it goes right down Broadway or right 90.
Somewhere you've got to put the line. I mean, you've got to put the line somewhere.
Because there's not a lot of distance between Columbia and Clearview, yet Clearview's in a district with Defiance, which is a long way away.
So you're saying they should move that line? Well, you're saying they should move it further west.
Yes.
Well,
but I think
no matter where you put the line, though, somebody's going to complain.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's been a problem for the Vermilion schools for years and years. They're always in the northwest region of everything, yet everything they do is on this end of this, the county and the state.
Hey, Tim, tell us about your trip to Sonora last
Penalty against Lorain Middle.
That was a name I saw. Defiance Tenora. Is that who they would play?
Oh, I've been there. I've been there in a rented van. We thank the folks at Alamo. Pitch thrown down, and that may have been the safety.
He's gonna give it to
him.
him.
They're going to give it to him at the 1-yard line. Very, very close. As thrown down was Brian Parker. It looked as though Lorain Middle may have gotten 2 points out of that. Barry Buck, Brian may have gotten a generous spot right there.
He sure did. I think it might have been more trouble for the officials to give him the safety and do all that. Just let him. He might have gotten out there, but Whittier's offense is just not getting on track. They can't do anything right. They haven't run a play that's gotten them any success.
2:10 to go, third quarter. Lorain Middle comfortably in front, 20-0. A touchdown in each of the first 3 quarters. Third and long for Whittier. Looking left and just heaving it out towards the 3-yard line. There wasn't a white jersey in sight. They may say that Anthony Browning would have been the intended receiver, but boy, Brian Kovacs was in big trouble in the end zone.
In the pros, is that probably been a safety? I'm looking, I'm watching number 53 for Lorain Middle is playing over the center, and he's just taking the center and just pushed. He's doing anything he wants to do with him, and I think that's why the Whittier offense is just not able to go anywhere. He's in the backfield before they can get moving.
Number 53 for Lorain Middle, Dale Linder. So now Southview will be forced to punt. John Daniel in his own end zone gets the kick away, end over end kick. Antoine Carlton will let it bounce. Now he'll try to scoop it up. It goes between his legs. Finally got it. Breaks a couple of tackles. Carlton at the 25. Carlton to the 20, to the 15, to the 10. Stays on his feet to the 5. Touchdown! What a return by Antoine Carlton.
What a great run. Put his hand down to balance himself. What a great run.
Oh, Mama Cece, you can heat up the pizza right now. How about that?
I think he lured him in with that fumble and kicking it around and playing. He just turned the corner, and again, just speed once he turned the corner. And, there's just no coach in that kind of running. That's just a great run. The kicker did a great job getting it out of the end zone to get it down to the 30, the 25, I think.
About a 26, 27-yard punt
Fumbled
return.
It, and he bent around, and six
Ooh,
guys.
They had a shot at him. And then once he turned the corner, then he breaks the tackle here, right there. Stays on his feet. Great balance. That was terrific. Now, as the CC player of the game, if it is Antoine Carlton, we're not telling you right now who it is, but he has 3 touchdowns on the day. What would he receive?
He receives 2 free passes to CC's Pizza. And Ron and I give this out every week, and we're still waiting for a player to come and take us to dinner, but not going to happen, Joe says. So he gets 2 free passes.
That's not too bad. I'd take that. It's more than I get from Joe Bach. Robert Bruce on the 2-point conversion coughs up the football, so Lorain Middle again misses on the 2-point conversion, but it matters little. They lead 26-0
We did get
over
pizza
Whittier.
from Ray Ebersol, though.
Yes, we did. The Big E up here in the box with us this afternoon.
Joe's been trying to coax him to grab that green microphone and get on with this, but
there's the flag that we mentioned earlier.
And now, see, people are going to think that you're crazy because now the flag's right to left.
Yeah, it has changed direction. Folks, trust me, earlier that thing was blowing straight left to right.
You know what it is? It's a Lorain Middle flag, whichever way they're going. Because remember when he kicked it 50 yards and went left to right? And now it's going east to west, west to east. This is a swirling wind here. Good thing we're not kicking.
1:44 to go, third quarter. And Whittier in a deep hole, trailing 26-0 to Lorain Middle. We mentioned that Whittier came in at 5-1, but I'll tell you what, it's Lorain Middle that's looked like the powerhouse today. Handoff goes to Josh Smith, but a terrific tackle made by Chris Kimbrough for Lorain Middle.
He fought off the block and he did what he was supposed to do. The runner should have cut back inside of his block, and he ran right into the defender, and it was a good tackle.
Like Kimbrough did a nice job right there. Look, Chris Kimbrough with them bright gold socks out there. Well, if you don't know Chris Kimbrough's on the field, just take a look from the knees down.
School colors, black and gold.
I think he's the only one as I look over to the sideline for Lorain Middle, sporting those high gold socks. Movement in the line. And new quarterback in there for Whittier is Josh Smith, but before he's able to get the play off, they'll whistle the encroachment call against Lorain Middle.
Speaking of black and gold, I read in the paper today where the guy that won the contest that renamed the Steelers, gave them their name, the Steelers, died today. They used to be called the Pirates. And Art Rooney wanted to distinguish the Steelers, his football team, from the baseball team, so he had a contest, and this guy entered the name Steelers, and Art Rooney picked it, and
really?
Yeah, it was in a
I've never heard that story before.
Paper today. And I think the guy was in his 80s, and it was in the 1930s that they had a contest, and they used to be the Pirates. I didn't know they were the Pirates.
Smith keeps it himself, 45-50, turns the corner, 45-40, and finally tracked down from behind. As turning on the Jets defensively was Antoine Carlton to catch him, but not before Josh Smith puts together a nice run of about 15 yards all the way down to the Lorain Middle 40-yard line.
And we're going to see the gold socks coming across the field. You'll see them as you mentioned. You can see them.
There they are.
You can see them in pursuit.
First down and 10 for Whittier, 36 seconds to go.
Billy White Shoes Johnson, right? And this is some of the Whittier guys have on the Red Sox. The Jim Thome look.
I formation behind, well, now Kovacs is back in at Whittier quarterback. Wing right and then tight to the right. There's a pitch, and now we're going to see a pass flung downfield, and it's almost intercepted. Who else? Antoine Carlton couldn't quite bring it in at about the 20-yard line.
I'm not a superstitious person, but do you think the goat is alive and well? The spirit of the goat?
In Chicago?
Yeah.
You know, I was talking about this morning with WEOL's ever-popular Wally Minnis. Now, if you're a fan at a baseball game, Your natural instinct is to catch a foul ball. That's just a natural thing as a fan. That ball's not coming towards you, and you're going, oh, there's runners at first and second, one out, and here comes Moises. I better not. I mean, your natural reaction is to just reach up.
Yeah, and it wasn't like he reached into the field of play. It was in the stands.
I mean, I can understand the Cubs fans' frustration. Pitch, and now they're going to try a reverse in the backfield. That play got blown up. Kyle Counts got crushed back at the midfield stripe.
Now, there's a great defensive play there. 2 ball carriers there. I'm going to hold on to both of them until I find out which one has the ball. Watch him tackle both of them. He just grabs both of them. So he's got.
Yeah, I'll take them both down. Adrian Casey with a nice defensive play for Lorain Middle, and that will close out the third quarter of play. Big quarter for Lorain Middle. 2 more touchdowns. They lead it 26-0. And to finish that thought, I can't blame that fan. It's a natural reaction by a fan. It's an instinctive thing to reach for that baseball. But are the Cubbies doomed? They may be. All right, we'll take a timeout. 26-0. Lorain Middle over Whittier on WLCS TV 20, Lorain City Schools Television. Welcome back to George Daniels Stadium.
Look who's in the backfield.
First play of the fourth quarter, and it pretty much goes the way most of the offense has gone for Whittier today, backwards, as Brian Kovacs is thrown for a loss.
You know, usually when we do a high school game and the player does everything, we jokingly say, do you think he drove the bus? I think at this level it would be safe to say that he didn't drive the bus, but Anton has done everything else.
If Antoine drove the bus, he's eliminated from the CC's Player of the Game award. I can tell you that.
Or he can just take the bus on over there, take us with him.
7.5 minutes to go in the ball game. Lorain Middle with a dominant performance here today, leading the Warriors from Whittier 26-0. I formation behind Brian Kovacs. Ball just about in the middle of the field. Kovacs, oh my, did he get annihilated at the 41-yard line.
He turned to hand the ball off, and there was nobody there. He was left all by himself.
As my radio partner Bob Tomaszewski would say, Kovacs got the kibosh put on him. Pow, right there.
2 of them.
Yes, the kibosh was delivered by Adrian Casey for Lorain Middle.
Whittier's just having a real tough time this game.
Again, the 8th grade game will follow with Lorain Middle and the Whittier Warriors right here at George Daniel Stadium in Lorain. I assume by then we'll have the lights on here at George Daniel.
You know, we were talking about the use of the field. We've been informed that there's a girls' soccer game after this game here.
My
Sectional
goodness.
game, so the girls will be playing soccer late.
Handoff. And looking for room, but not finding any. The wingback for Lorain Middle.
You know, the other
dropped
thing at this,
after a short gain, Anthony Harrison.
The other thing they do at this level, if you noticed, there was a little motion, harmless. It didn't affect the play, so snap it and let's play on. The officials will be a little more lax here too at this level.
Yeah, I would imagine that's a fine line. You want the kids to learn the game. You can't stop it every single play.
Right.
And yet,
but if it doesn't affect the
But they need
play,
to learn the rules as well. So.
Right.
2nd down and 9. Lorain Middle at the Whittier 40-yard line. Lorain Middle already leading 26-0. Back in at quarterback for Lorain Middle is Chad Hall. His pass attempt is knocked down here on the near side.
Eddie Miller.
Set up a 3rd down and 9 situation. Good-sized crowd on hand, probably during the 8th grade game. We'll see a few more folks filter in here at George Daniel Stadium in Lorain. Again, we thank our sponsors, the good folks at Lorain Palace Civic Center, Impressions, First Federal Savings of Lorain, and, of course, CC's Pizza. 3rd down and 9. Handoff goes to Carlton. Look out. He's to the 35, spinning his way down
He may have a
to
first
about
down.
the 30-yard line.
Again, Tim, there's just things that he does that you just don't teach. The spin move, the putting the hand down to keep his balance. Those are things that are just instinctive, and Bill Jones has to be licking his lips. And we were talking earlier about winning. You know, the seniors at Admiral King now have only won like 3 games, I think, or 4 games. But the JVs and the freshmen have been winners since they've been starting. And so that winning attitude is there. It just has to carry on up into the big level.
Indeed, Carlton did pick up a first down First down and 10. Lorain Middle at the 30-yard line. Pitch play, looking for room. Oh, what a hit at the 28-yard line. I'll tell you what, Harrison got collared. Nice tackle on the play was made by Brian Kovacs. Want to share your note with class?
We're talking about that person that died in that Chicago Marathon. And I said she was a teacher.
You know, I remember getting asked that a few times. Timothy, do you care to share that with us?
And
no,
your
I don't.
response was?
No. Ball is at the 20.
You must have thought we were talking about you.
Second down and 7. Single back behind Chad Hall. And Hall will keep it himself. Hall looking for room, not much. Whittier played that play pretty well.
Yes,
Strung
did.
it out and dropped Hall at the original line of scrimmage.
Good pursuit. The first rusher kind of took the wrong angle here. He didn't break down once he got into the backfield, but then he made the quarterback step outside. And by that time, Whittier pursued it. A nice tackle there, and 85 came back and made it.
Got a Lorain Middle player shaken up on the play, so we'll take a timeout. Again, Lorain Middle comfortably ahead, 26-0. They lead Whittier in this very special sports presentation on WLCS TV 20, Lorain City Schools Television.
There's this guy, always in my face, shouting at me. But I love him. My coach.
Be a coach. Inspire greatness. Special Olympics.
Welcome back to this special sports presentation on WLCS TV 20. Tim Elkhorn, Barry Buck with you. 7th grade football between Lorain Middle and Lorain Whittier. And off the injury timeout, Adrian Casey gets the handoff, plows his way down to about the 25-yard line. We'll set up 4th and about 5 for Lorain Middle. Right now, the clock, the primary factor in this football game. We're down to 4.5 minutes to go.
I think for both sides, I think when you've done as little as Whittier's been able to do today, I pulled yours. That
it's nice when they tell the TV guys that they're going to be towing vehicles in the parking lot. Handoff. Yeah. And there goes Carlton. Is he on his way to number 4? Yes, he is. Touchdown number 4 for Antoine Carlton. A 25-yard dash to pay dirt.
Pepperoni and mushroom.
Oh, my. Will it be the works? Extra sauce, extra cheese?
Whaley eats that apple pie pizza. Nice cut inside. He breaks it out there. Looks a nice run.
That's just instinctive running right there.
Yep,
That's
inside,
great running.
outside, and into the end zone.
Carlton with a 25-yard touchdown run, his 4th touchdown of the day. And again, at the middle school level, no kicking for extra points. They'll simply go for the 2-point conversion. Carlton, the lone back, behind Robert Bruce. The pitch, and banging his way in for the 2-point run is Anthony Harrison.
That was a nice run. He just saw where he had to get and got there. And
a little power surge here at the end. Get a little shoulder pop here. Boom.
That's 3 good backs that Lorain Middle is going to send up in the next couple years with Miles Jones and these two that carrying the ball. And Anton is just carrying the load forever.
So Whittier will get it at their 35-yard line, trailing 34-0. Boy, it has been a dominant performance by Lorain Middle.
Okay. Again, we get the ball in the 35, and Whittier's trying to count to 11. They're missing a player. Missing an offensive lineman.
Definitely some confusion there for Whittier.
I'm looking out into the parking lot here to the right, and there's an awful lot of cars out there for a Wednesday afternoon at George Daniel. Whittier calls timeout because they don't have the right 11.
Actually, there's more people on the away side than we used to see for some LEL games.
Yeah, boy, you got that right. We looked over in some of the LEL games, and there's been 10 people over there, and that's Lorain Middle crowd over there, or the kids. And if we look off to the left there, we can see the 8th graders warming up.
Indeed we can. Lorain Middle down to our left as Joe Bach does a pan of the crowd. That's Joe Bach, he's such a pro. B-O-C-K, remember the name, and be thankful he'll leave his socks on.
Do you want to know where Ron Bacalar is?
Well, I guess you're going to tell me.
He's riding a train in North Carolina.
Is he really?
Yes.
He's kind of a big train guy, almost like Joe Tate, correct? They have
he's
that
big train. He makes videos, and he's done them all. And
I believe he sent Joe one of his videos.
He's done a couple. He's got a new one. He said he's almost done with the second one. But he and 2 other couples, he and his wife and 4 other people went down to did he say the Smoky Mountains?
I went on a trip with them this past weekend.
Whittier will try to hang it downfield, and the pass is in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Brian Parker. Boy, Josh Smith hung it out there for him.
We have a flag.
Parker had it pop off his shoulder pads. Even if he had caught it, well, now they reversed the call.
He got confused. He called a personal foul, and he pointed the wrong way, so it's going to be against Lorain Middle.
Tell you what, Josh Smith does a nice job of throwing the football here.
Hitting the quarterback a little late, and this one right through his hands.
Oh. Could have been 6, although defensively, Kara Tyler was right there for Lorain Middle. But indeed, the 15-yard penalty against Lorain Middle puts the ball at the 50-yard line. Again, the 8th grade game coming up shortly here on WLCS TV 20. The 7th grade contest has been dominated by Lorain Middle. Antoine Carlton, remember that name for future years. 4 touchdowns for the Steelmen. Handoff goes to Whittier's Andrew Holland.
I think that penalty was Whittier's biggest offensive play. They've just been thwarted in all sides. They just can't get anything. And they've had, 4 turnovers or 5 fumbles? They have 4 or 5? And
the turnovers have really
probably cost them at least 3 scores.
Done them in. They're alternating quarterbacks right now between Josh Smith and Brian Kovacs. Right now it's back to Josh Smith. Smith, quick drop, now rolling to the left. Has room to rumble to the 45, to the 40, 35-30. Josh Smith, 25-20. Josh Smith being chased. They won't catch him. Touchdown.
And we're going to see the replay here. We're going to see number 40, I believe it was, just peel back and throw a block. Just the idea to have enough awareness to know that I can turn around and hit somebody square up and get a good legal block. And then Smith turned the corner. It looked like when he turned the corner, he wasn't sure he was going to be free.
Yeah, right
here we'll see number 40. See the block?
Good block.
Nice cut there. Another nice block there. And then he gets to the sidelines, and it's 6. And you like to see both teams score.
And Sergio King was flailing away for Lorain Middle, but he wasn't going to catch him.
And, you talked about alternating quarterbacks. That's good, too, at this level. You don't want to just have one kid play one position. You just get 2 or 3. That way you can go to your varsity coach and say, look, I got 3 kids that played quarterback, or 4 kids.
Kovacs flings it right side, complete to Cruz. Cruz doesn't get there, though.
He was the quarterback in the first half and now is playing running back.
So Lorain Middle's lead is 34-6. 2 minutes and 50 seconds to go in this ball game. Again, this is the 7th grade contest. Lorain Middle and Whittier. The 8th grade matchup to follow. I've seen some exciting plays here in the 7th grade ball game.
A couple trick plays and some real nice running and some nice defensive plays and the form tackling. So you can see that the coaching is going on with the kids and they're learning the fundamentals of the game. We've had a couple of offsides and false starts, but for the most part, kids have played a clean game and a fun game to be in, and they're just happy to be in the stadium. They're just thrilled to be here.
Lorain Middle leading 34-6. Timeout. 2:50 to go. We'll take a break on WLCS TV 20, Lorain City Schools Television.
CC's Pizza.
CC's Buffet has 16 kinds of great-tasting pizza, pasta, salad, and desserts, all you can eat for only $3.99. And CC's was voted #1 for overall customer satisfaction.
The best buffet that you can find. Lunch and dinner anytime. Let's go to CC's Pizza. Great taste at a great price.
Welcome back to George Daniel Field. Here comes Lorain Middle with a little bit of trickery. And on the left side, out to the 35, to the 40, and diving forward, DeAndre Williams. Nice gain of about 8 for DeAndre Williams.
Now, I know at the upper levels, if you ran a reverse with 2 minutes left and up 26 points or 28 points, there might be some unhappy people. But at this level, you're just practicing what you do and let the kids carry the ball. And
well, that's a new name we haven't heard, so they're trying to get DeAndre.
maybe that's the only play that you have it set up for him to play as a reverse.
Now in the ball game, Greg Bratil, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, or Brattley, Bertulli. Inside handoff goes to Ken Rice. Not much there for Rice, as he was cooked pretty quickly on that play. Thrown down at the 42-yard line.
You call it minute, Rice?
For a loss of 1.
Or instant?
So it will be 3rd and long for Lorain Middle.
You talked earlier, Tim, about the size difference. Look at he's leaving the game now, but look at 35 as compared to some of the, next year when he comes out, he may be a foot taller by the time he gets there next year. So.
Well, there's definitely some growth spurts in those young men from 7th to 8th, 8th to 9th.
I think Michael Jordan was a great example of that. Didn't he grow a big spurt in his freshman year in high school?
Yep. Inside handoff, nothing there. We'll set up 4th down and about 4 for Lorain Middle. So they're going to walk out of here with a victory this afternoon. Led 8-0 at the end of one, 14-0 at the half. Extended that lead to 26-0 at the end of 3. In fact, led 34-zip here in the 4th before Josh Smith finally got Whittier on the board with a 50-yard touchdown run to make it a 34-6 ball game. And that's where we stand with 42 seconds to go in the contest. Back under center for Lorain Middle is Chad Hall. Hall.
Inside handoff.
Gives it on an inside handoff, and there isn't any room. In fact, they'll stop the clock with 31 seconds to go. So Whittier will get one more opportunity to put some points on the board. 1st down and 10 for the Warriors. They'll bring their offense on the field. Is that one of our officials today, Barry?
I believe it is. Do you think you know him?
Yeah, I know him. Might be. Here on the near side?
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's him. Tony Jordan. Basketball official in Lorain County.
And now Whittier takes a timeout with 31 seconds to go.
Well, your horizons will expand a little bit with Elyria going to the Pioneer. You'll see some teams that radio broadcast that you haven't seen before. Are you doing any of their games that
yeah, we're going to go down
to Strongsville or to Brunswick or
actually,
Medina?
Well, we're going to Medina. We'll see Elyria at Medina a little bit later on in the year. We have a couple of Admiral King boys basketball games on the schedule. I know they have a Monday, January 19th game, a Martin Luther King game against Toledo Scott. We'll have that game on the air. And Monday, January 26th, the Admirals are actually playing at Gund Arena. They'll play an afternoon game at the Gund before the Cavs host the Orlando Magic. And we'll be down there, have that game on WEOL. That'll be fun to call a game from the Gund. It's basketball time at the Gund. Maybe that's the only chance I'll ever have to say that, so I better get it in.
Joe will be jealous.
1st and 10 for Whittier. Quick hitter here on the left side, complete, looking for room, but not much for Zeno in Cherokee.
Cherokee, good memory. As good of friends as many things you've done with Joe, I'm surprised he hasn't had you sit next to him at the Gund and be a pregame host or something, or pregame guest.
Do you remember the Everly Brothers?
Yeah.
Dream, 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 dream. All right, that pretty much brings to an end this ball game here at George Daniel Field. On my singing note, Lorain Middle will walk out of here a victor, 34-6 over the Warriors from Whittier High School. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, my broadcast partner, Barry Buck, and yours truly, Tim Elkhorn, will recap this one, and then we'll set the stage for the 8th grade ball game between the Warriors and the Steelmen. That comes your way after this timeout on WLCS TV 20, Lorain City Schools Television. Welcome back to George Daniel Stadium here in Lorain. Tim Elkhorn along with Barry Buck on WLCS TV 20. And the 7th grade game between Lorain Middle and Lorain Whittier is in the book. Lorain Middle with a dominating 34-6 win over the Warriors. Of course, not much debate about our CC's player of the game.
I don't think so.
Antoine Carlton was just outstanding today for the 7th graders from Lorain Middle School. 4 touchdowns in the ball game. In fact, he scored the game's first touchdown in the first period, a 12-yard touchdown run. That got Lorain Middle off to a 8-0 lead as they converted on the 2-point run. That's the way the score stood at the end of one period. Then in the second quarter, off a Whittier turnover, Miles Jones with an 11-yard touchdown run to give Lorain Middle a 14-0 lead at the half. The onslaught continued in the third quarter of play. Once again, Antoine Carlton, he scored 2 touchdowns in the quarter, a 65-yard run in which he had just accelerated through the hole, and once he was through the Whittier defenders, he was gone. And then a beautiful 27-yard punt return in which he bobbled the ball, picked it back up, eluded a couple of tacklers, found his way to the end zone. That gave Lorain Middle a 26-0 lead, and basically the fourth quarter was some icing on the cake and some playing time for some of the youngsters out there. Carlton would score his 4th touchdown of the day, a 25-yard run to extend Lorain Middle's lead to 34-0. But Whittier got on the board, a 50-yard touchdown run late in the ball game as Josh Smith, their quarterback, scampered down the left sideline with the football for the 50-yard score. That made the final 34-6. But Barry Buck, the undoing for Whittier today, turnovers. Oh my goodness, they just couldn't hang on to the football.
Not only turnovers, but where they turned it over. They turned it over deep 2 times inside their own 15. You can't give a team the ball on the 11-yard line and expect to win the ball game. They had at least 4 turnovers, 3 for scores, and that just did them in.
And again, our CC's player of the game is Antoine Carlton of Lorain Middle School. Again, CC's Pizza, just outstanding. CC's Pizza Buffet has 16 kinds of pizza. They have pasta, salad, and dessert. All that, Barry Buck, for only $3.99.
$3.99. I've been there. My kids have been there with me. It's a great deal.
When you bringing me?
Anytime you want to go. We'll go tonight. They're open late.
All right. Well, again, a big win for Lorain Middle in the opener, 34-6. They knock off Whittier here on WLCS TV 20, Lorain City Schools Television. We'll take a timeout, and when we come back, Barry Buck and yours truly will preview the second game. Of course, that's the 8th grade matchup between the Steelmen and the Warriors. That comes your way right after this, right here on WLCS TV 20.
This has been a production of Lorain City Schools TV 20 WLCS.
To purchase a high-quality copy of the program you just viewed, please call Lorain City Schools Television at 282-8400.